Bitcoin and Ethereum, when's it going to zero? Let's find out in the charts here, shall we? Well, we have evidence, right, from very reliable source that Bitcoin is going all the way to zero. We're going to talk about that and more in today's episode. Same with, right, it's going to be a wild ride. We're going to actually do the news rant in today's episode. We're not going to split it out today. So we're going to have the section with the TA and a news rant as well. So a little bit of difference than before. So it's all going to be combined together. So that's why we've got this evidence that I want to share with all y'all. That Bitcoin is going to zero, and same with Ethereum, because Ethereum, it's just going to be the same thing as Bitcoin. It's just a scam. Oh my gosh! Obviously, I'm being sarcastic here. We're going to talk about what this evidence is. Yes, you know what? You could say that it's like the guy who said zero. No, not that guy. It's going to zero. Oh yes, this is not that guy. But anyways, let's get on with the TA for today. Yeah, well, Bitcoin, as I said before, that we would most likely see a little bit of chop here, right? And that's what we're having with on the 4 hour. We're tightening up the Bollinger Bands for a big move, whether it's going to go up or it's going to go down. That remains to be seen. We're seeing that Bitcoin will break out, and we're closer to breaking out upward than we are to breaking downward. So the most likely target will be an upward breakout from this consolidation. Looking at let's just take a look at some of the indicators to see if we can see if there's any kind of information on where we might actually end up breaking out. Looking at the indicators, we can see that here. Let me just zoom this in up a bit. Let's see here. What does it say? See if there's anything. There is no divergence here, bearish divergence, so that's always good. So that's a positive for Bitcoin. We don't want to see a divergence here, so that's great. That means it's most likely to go a break higher. Let's go looking for anything else that would give us some sort of indication. I don't like that there's no volume here, but let's just take a look at this chart and see what's going on. I noticed that I'm missing the called the Willy indicators, right? But here, this indicator, the waves, Rockin waves, right? It's not no decisive move just yet. You need some bigger green points here in order to really say yes, it's a decisive move. So and it's a lagging indicator a little bit, so it might break out before we even get a chance to make a trade. The only thing we've got to hang our hats on is basically, hey, we're closer to a breakout than a breakdown. Now, looking at the other side of the coin, because you have to look at both sides of any kind of trade. Oh, I forgot to mention, we are above the 13 EMA, which is also a positive sign. And as long as we remain above that, that's always a better chance for us to break higher than it is to break lower. Unfortunately, we have some sad news here. We might be creating an M pattern here if we break down, of course, below the 20,900. That can bring us down quite a bit, right down to the 20,300-ish area, which would coincide with this upward pattern breaking down. Once this thing fails, this upward trend that we had here, it usually comes right back to the bottom of the trend. So maybe, and then obviously, right, just like I said, most likely in the other videos that we could go do this kind of like W-ish pattern and do another W-ish, and then off we go to the races. Right? You could have thought, well, this might be the W, but it's not quite. Yeah, you can see that we made a higher high here, and yeah, it doesn't count. So if we can hold off, like maybe we can fake off, maybe we can do a little bit of a fake out, and this M turns into a W, and then we go higher. But we'll break at least only the what's it called, the previous high, so we won't get too much pump out of it. So we'll only get to the previous resistance level here. So it's not the greatest pump, but if it does do it. So the best thing we could hope for is actually to, believe it or not, for us to come all the way back down here and then do a W, because then that W will have more power for more juice, more bounce for the ounce. Maybe take us to like 25, 26K level. So let's just see what happens in the next little while. I'm looking to see if this thing I'm in a short right now, small short, all the way down to here. So that's what I'm looking at. Most likely, I know there's no guarantee that that's going to happen, right? We could end up, bouncing straight up and go higher, right? Because there's a lot more evidence that we're going higher. But we're in a downtrend, right? The trend's a friend to the end, so I'm going to stick with the short over a long. But who knows? I'd like it to kick me in the butt and go higher. So, alrighty. Remember, if you want to trade this, you could head over to ByBit and sign up for a $4,000 bonus, or you could sign up for my trading competition, which has already started, right? And to do that, you just go WSOT, and that will take you straight to it, right? You can see, right? It takes you right to the World Series of Trading competition, right? And yeah, we're starting today. So I'm going to be doing, also, I forgot to mention, I'm going to be doing live trading episodes today for my DJ15 holders and the private Telegram group. So if you want to join in, right, you're going to have to purchase some DJ15 tokens. So make sure you go ahead and do that and subscribe to the Telegram group. Links are in the description below. Okay, let's take a look at Ethereum and hopefully see something positive there. Well, I mean, there's a head and shoulders, so not good at all. Yeah, if you don't see it, let me zoom in there so that you guys can see the head and shoulders pattern that's emerging from Ethereum. You can see here's one shoulder, there's the head, and now we're trying to create another shoulder. So not good at all. And let's see here, what's the neckline? Let's just say the neckline is right here. I mean, it's not the greatest of head and shoulders, right? Because you could say, well, that's not really a neckline. The neckline's got to be there, so right? And it's not the greatest, so you can always just say, well, you know what? Head and shoulders is just an M pattern, basically, right? You can see that right here, right? Let's just draw that out. This is one M, and that's the other M. Right, so it's one side of the shoulder is an M, so we could say that, hey, that this breakdown is the breakdown of this level here, which is the $1,193 level, would mean that we are going down, and we're going down heavy on Ethereum. So what's that downward trajectory, as we can say? Usually when we have these big dumps, right, we have what's called consolidation. So it's not surprising, right, that we do not make a big high, right? If we have this we have consolidation near the lows, right, especially after a big dump. And in order to psych out the people who are looking for that dead cat bounce, right? Because that dead cat bounce was back when we went to 48,000. That was it. That was a dead cat. There's no more dead cats here. They're all died off. All 9 lives. So with that said, right, even though, Ethereum looks like Bitcoin wants to pump, Ethereum's clear on that, clear on the message here. Bollinger Band's about to tighten, and yeah, we are not looking good. So even if we do have a good looking indicators, right, which we don't, look at that. we have divergence on Ethereum. Here, let me just minus that. You can see that the divergence here. So with this high, this peak high is although it went higher here, this indicator went higher, did not go higher. So not good sign. We can assume that you know what, this is going to break down further, and so it's probably going to drag Bitcoin with it. So we're talking a target of $1,100, which is not so bad. We expected that. Again, if you take a look at the trend here, you can see it did the same. Ethereum did the same thing, right? And it broke the trend, and now it. Once it breaks this upward trend, right, usually it dumps back down all the way to the very beginning. So you could expect, you know, either, you know, 160, 170, I'm sorry, 1,070, 1,060-ish dollars, but probably closer to the $1,100, $1,100 is where you should probably take profits once you're in the short. So this is where I think this is the most likely scenario for Ethereum. So I'm going to say that this negates the Bitcoin chances of going higher, unfortunately. Alrighty. But you know what? Ethereum tends to fake out, so don't be surprised. Don't bet the farm on any particular trades, or else you can manage to get wrecked. Right. Let's see what Rockin is saying with this now that we're done here. Oops. Let's see here. Can we turn on the Rockin? Yes, we can. Oh, that's the EMA ribbons. Yeah. So the EMA ribbons say otherwise. Let's see if here. Come on. There we go. So the Rockin says we're on a sell side, right, and it hasn't changed. So on the 4 hours. So there it is. If you're interested in Rockin, you can head over to payments.rockinbrainer.io, right, and check it out, right, for $300 for 1 month. It's a really good piece of software, and you'll get some training on it as well for that $300. So yeah, and you can take it for a whole year for $2,500. Okay, let's get on with the news, right? Because Bitcoin headed to zero, says China, state media said. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, man. Thanks, China. I mean, if it wasn't for government, right, telling us what to do, we wouldn't survive here. Right? We wouldn't be able to know whether or not this is not an asset we should buy. Right? Because the government, they've never lied to us. They don't cheat us. They don't hurt us. They've never killed people. Oh, yes. So, obviously, it's going to zero. I think China might be right on that. Actually, I really believe that China's right on this. Here's why. Just pay attention. They are right. Because the dollar is going to zero. So effectively, it will have no price in dollars. So China's right. Oh, damn. Yes, this is funny. I know. I love laughing at my own jokes, but hey, come on, this is funny, right? Bitcoin going to zero? Yes. Continuing on, JP Morgan has this fair value of Bitcoin, while analysts say Bitcoin is going to 20% higher. Oh no. Why couldn't you just come out and say that Bitcoin was breaking below 17,000? Why do you have to do that? Why do you have to come out with positive news? Because you know what? right? Whenever a bank comes out with positive news, right, it's always like the opposite happens. Just annoying, right? So, yeah, you don't really pay attention to banks, what banks have to say, because they are really trying to trade against you, right, as much as they possibly can. So, yeah, when they come up with this kind of information, it's best to ignore it and keep an eye on the charts. Swiss national bank exec regulators may favor centralized stablecoins after terror crisis. Yes, I can see why that's a possibility, right? Because, hey, a free market is dangerous, right? You have to actually, make choices, and sometimes those choices are wrong. We want you to not have any choice, right? As a central banker, no choice is better, right? We'll always take care of you. Not to mention control you, but hey, we're taking care of you. Oh, yes. Central bank control is actually the goal of these stablecoins from central bankers. To control what you can do, what you can buy, when you can sell, and where you can buy. And so, yes, the market will have failures. And we'll learn from those failures. We'll know that, hey, as one of my audience members who's watching this right now, what you should be doing is making sure that any algorithmic stablecoin has a plan if things go crazy. In fact, any kind of algorithmic system that is connected to our dying and antiquated financial system will have disruptions, massive disruptions. In fact, every single system will have massive disruptions one time. Because why? Because people like to manipulate things, right? It's not just governments. And they're going to manipulate the situation so that, to test out whether or not your algorithmic system, whether it be, a DeFi system or an algorithmic stablecoin, they're going to push it to the limit, and they're going to have we're going to have like some sort of tail risk event or basically an event that moves the market a lot and causes it to break. So long as those things have some sort of plan for that breakage, right? Then that's worthwhile investing. Just my 2 cents and some knowledge for y'all. Crypto lending firm to apply for bankruptcy. Yes. Goldman Sachs looks to raise $2 billion for investors to buy distressed assets from Celsius. Ooh. You know what a distressed asset is, right? Also, it's usually somebody else's liability, right? When they call it distressed assets. So when you say distressed assets, when it concerns a bank, what it means is it's bad debt. It's debt that's not being paid, right? With the monthly payments and stuff like that. So it's interesting what they're calling it there. I'm wondering if the news article made a mistake, or this is what they're actually looking at, buying up bad debt that Celsius that caused Celsius to collapse. Interesting. Or, right? Or, which I can't believe that they'd call it. They put it under distressed assets, but they could actually. They could be placing your cryptocurrency as distressed asset. So they could say, well, it's going down, so it's distressed. But I don't think so. I really don't think so. I don't believe that that's the case. They mean probably debt instruments that failed on this company here. So we'll see. That $2 billion, I bet you that's not going to the customers, though. I bet you, because they're all unsecured creditors, and so they're going to have to wait in line, in a bankruptcy line, so before they get paid, and they're going to probably be the last to get paid. Probably get other creditors, right? Who have access will get paid to actually, collateral. They're going to probably get paid first. So that sucks for all those people who put money into Celsius. It is over. The cry, you could say the fat lady has sung, and now you can begin the crying. Sucks. Well, that's why, you know what, not your keys, not your Bitcoin, right? You have to hold your Bitcoin because Bitcoin's real. Bitcoin's here to stay, and you need to be a part of it. You need to own your Bitcoins and not have somebody else try to earn interest on it, because it will end badly. All right, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, bell button and all, and I appreciate everybody for watching. Cheers.